Hey, good evening, everyone. In fact, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from in the world. My name is Naomi Empowers, and it is my honor and privilege to welcome you to yet another episode of the Naomi Empowers show. We do this every Sunday from 8 p.m. British summertime to 8 p.m. British summertime, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast of the United States, and midday if you are on the West Coast. This is your opportunity to get your weekly dose of life lessons, inspiration, and empowerment. You see, I believe that there is great value in taking the shared lessons and the shared knowledge and wisdom within our community and sharing it on a broader platform so that we have the opportunity to learn from one another. You see, oftentimes we learn most and we learn best through pain. But what if we could kind of make a shortcut and not have to go through every single hard time ourselves? What if we could leverage the knowledge, the wisdoms, and the experience from other people and get these valuable life lessons? Well, this is what the Naomi Empowers show is really all about. It's where I interview some amazing entrepreneurs every week and let them share with you their most valuable lessons, life lessons that have been responsible for their continued success. And so that's really what we're all about. That's what we are here to do. Good evening. Thank you so much, Melanie, for joining us. Thank you. It's lovely to see you again. If you didn't catch Melanie's episode 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of hosting Melanie. So make sure you go back through the archives and check out Melanie's episode. She shared with us some great value. And we also have Curate Your Genius. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's nice to have you. Of course, please do give us, let us know where you are tuning in from. Don't be afraid or ashamed of saying hi. So this brings us nicely onto my next point. Missed this. All right, guys. So I have a confession to make. So in my intro, I say we do this every Sunday. However, last week's Sunday was a little bit different. Last week, Sunday, I had to put out an announcement that there was going to be no show that week. I've been doing this consistently since May. And last week was the first time I had to hold up my hands and say, sorry, people, I simply cannot do it this week. And it is completely my fault. So as you all will know, I have two young children. I've got an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. I'm going to get them to come on the show one of these days with me. But what it was now, I was preparing for them to go back to school. And typically I thought, okay, yeah, I'll leave it till tomorrow. And then tomorrow became the Sunday before the children went back to school. And I realized I hadn't ironed their uniform. I hadn't done Rianne's hair. I hadn't even taken my son to the barbers. So Sunday was a nightmare for me. I left everything to the last minute. And so it meant calling up the barber on Sunday and being like, oh, please, can you see my boy today? I'll even come to the house. Yes. All right. Thanks a lot. Yes. Procrastination. Naughty me. I admit it. And you know what? Thank you actually for sharing this, because you see what happens when we procrastinate. Oftentimes something has to give. We put ourselves under immense pressure and then something has to give. And in this case, it was for me that the show, I had to miss the last week's show. But anyway, we got back into the new routine of school Monday through Friday. So hopefully going forward, we should have no more interruptions with the show. We'll be able to continue as planned. But yeah, it's been great it's great to be back. It's great to connect with you all again. And I'm hoping that you will all be able to take something extra special from this week's show. It's always a privilege to be able to come on here, to be able to share with you all. For those of you who are interested in things that we're doing outside of this show, let me see if I can actually find it now. I have a Facebook group, a free Facebook group for you to join, and it's called the Entrepreneur Support Network, the #1 online community for successful entrepreneurs. You see, I recognize that entrepreneurship can sometimes be a lonely road. And it's nice to be able to have people that you can lean on and depend on to get some encouragement, to get some expert guidance and advice, support, accountability, camaraderie, and most importantly, well, no, maybe not most importantly, but free training. So every Monday in my Facebook group, I go live and I offer free training for entrepreneurs. And next week, tomorrow even, we're going to be having a live training session. So if you want to be a part of that, then please go to my Facebook page. You should see a link to join. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, there will be a link somewhere in the description where you'll be able to join us and be part of our growing community, where myself and a few others are going to be sharing valuable wisdom, practical things that you as an entrepreneur can do on your journey to make things better for you. Melanie's asking, are the uniforms ready for tomorrow? Do you know what? I'm not even going to be a hypocrite, Melanie. I'm going to say the answer is no. I've washed them, I've dried them, but they are yet to be ironed. And as soon as this is done, that's exactly what I'll be doing. So yeah, the good thing is though, the children are on their way to bed. And, you know, I've got my special guest. We had a little chat actually about the fact that we had to blast our children a little bit earlier to make sure they find themselves in bed because it's school tomorrow. No more of this lockdown business. It's back to school. So I'm hoping that we have no more interruptions, as, you know, we have had in previous weeks with my children barging in the room. So I don't know who this is, but I see a Facebook user has got their hands up. So my high five's right back at you. And Melanie says, it's okay. She's ironing now. I'm going to catch up with you for sure on that ironing front. Anyway, guys, let me get straight into this evening's episode. I'm really excited to be back. And, you know, like Curate Your Genius said, I have actually missed this. And I'm really excited to bring to you a special guest. And you all know I don't do much by way of introduction. I like for my guests to introduce themselves. But this guest that I have coming on this evening, I've actually known officially for a really, really long time. Although we may not have spoken a whole lot during the time we've officially known each other, I'm so sure, and I'm going to get the clarification when she comes on, but I really do feel that her mum was something to do with my sisters coming into this world. I don't know if she was her midwife or something. Anyway, we're going to get some clarification on that once she does actually join us. But what I'm going to do is play for you a short clip to introduce my special guest. And then once that finishes, the next voice you will hear maybe, but definitely the next face that you will see on your screen is the talented, is the go-getter, is the amazing Candice Lee. Stay tuned, guys.
So the question, what do I want my legacy to be? I want it to be that I was someone who just lived life the way I wanted to live it. I worked hard, I played hard, I just did my thing. I lived my life my way. Someone who was giving, loving, kind, strong, fearless, independent, didn't let circumstances and situations define me and where I ended up. And I just had the best time and made the best of my life. That's what I want my legacy to be.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Candice, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
My absolute pleasure. You were one of the people that I spoke to months ago, actually, about being a guest. And so it's crazy to see how the time has just flown and now we're actually finally here making this happen. Someone has just reminded me, but Candice, before we get going, I forget this. Please, guys, I'm a bit rusty. So I've been off for a week. I'm a little bit rusty. For those of you who are joining us on Facebook, please go ahead and press that share button and share this to your profile and allow other people to be part of what we have going on here. And for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, go ahead and press that subscribe button, not forgetting to click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we go live with an episode of the Naomi Empowers show. So there, I've done it. And in fact, I'm going to just go and make sure that I've shared it myself, because sometimes I do forget to do that. I'm busy telling everyone else what to do and forget myself. So I'm just going over to my Facebook profile to make sure. Let me just see. Bear with me. To make sure that I have shared it. Candice, have you shared yours as well?
I have. I've shared it. I'm not really on Facebook that much, but I had just literally put it on my WhatsApp maybe about 10, 15 minutes.
Lovely, lovely.
I was
All
like,
right.
guys, don't forget.
Wonderful. So, all right. So mine is shared. I am back with you. Candice, it's wonderful to have you join us here today. Tell me, how's your weekend been so far?
Yeah, it's been okay, actually. I was pretty much child-free. My children were with my brother. I know. I couldn't believe it. It was my niece's birthday on Friday, so
nice.
dinner. And then as they do, can we stay at Uncle's house? Stay at Uncle. Bye.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Bye. And then they were supposed to come back yesterday, and then they were like, can we stay one more night? I was like, bye.
Yeah, sometimes us mums, we need a minute. Like it.
Yeah.
A minute.
Yeah. So I was able to just get all my cleaning done. The uniforms have been done. So I'm all right.
Oh, I'm last. I'm at the back of the queue. Like I've got Melanie up in here showing me up. I've got Candice now showing me up. Guys, as soon as this is finished, I assure you, my children will be going to school tomorrow as though someone loves them. I promise. So Melanie, I'm calling you Melanie. Sorry, I'm reading Melanie's comment slide. Candice, sorry. Candice, it's wonderful for you to be with us and for you to be so willing to share. You know, I really want to know how has it been for you before we get into the meat of the discussion? How has it been for you juggling everything that you do during this lockdown period? Like how has it been? Because like, you know, you're a mum just like me. It's 2 boys you have, right?
2 boys, yeah, 13 and 9.
13 and 9. All right, so yours are just older. So mine are 8 and 6. How has it been being this businesswoman, being this entrepreneur, being the mum, being the school cook, the school cleaner?
Oh, good. The school, everything.
Talk to me. How's it been?
It's been a juggling act. I'm not going to lie. You know, at first I went into it like, okay, very regimented, set a timetable. This time to this time, it's going to be this. And then by about week 2 or 3, I was like, who am I trying to kid? Like, this is not going to happen. This is not real life. I was just like, listen, if the kids want to sleep until 11 o'clock, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, if we eat dinner at 8 o'clock, nobody died.
It's fine. Yeah, I'm with you.
So I was just like, we just go with the flow. As long as the work is getting done, as long as their school work is getting done, I'm managing to keep on top of the business to an extent. The house looks somewhat tidy. And it's probably a good thing that no one could come round because it was like, some days she was like, please no one shut up at my door. But yeah, it was a joke. But we kind of got into a nice little rhythm. And so now it's almost getting back to having to stick to certain times. Now it's like, oh, I was doing all this before. Like, I don't remember sticking to a clock. I don't remember the clock thing. But yeah, it was a challenge, but we made the most of it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm sure we're going to probably get into more of that as the show goes on. But, you know, Candice, every time I have a guest on, I always ask for them to introduce themselves.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I don't want the humble version. I want you to be bringing out all the receipts and let the people know exactly who you are. Because, you know, I really think it's important that we get to championing our own selves, because you see, Candice, I'm sure if you ever messed up or if you had a flaw, you'd be happy to talk about how terrible you think it is. Do you know what I mean? But I think we also have to get into the habit of celebrating our own selves, of clapping for ourselves. So the floor is yours, Candice. Tell the people who are. Introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Candice, as it can be seen. I'm a mum of 2. Okay, let me gas myself up. So I'm going to say I'm a super mum of 2. I'm a boss mum. I'm doing the damn thing. I run multiple businesses. So I've got a skincare business, a property maintenance business, and I was due to launch my social events, but because of lockdown and so forth. But I've found other ways around it. What else? I'm a solo parent. So I'm doing all this on my own. And I'd say I'm a pretty damn good friend. I managed to somewhat keep myself in a reasonable shape. And I think I'm a very social person. So my friends all know that, when they want to go out and, they know when I'm around, when Candice is around, she's bringing the party, she's bringing the vibes. So I have that kind of, so yeah, I work hard and I play hard.
Love it.
Deserve to be able to do that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I certainly hear you on the solo parenting, because I'm right there with you. We're juggling all these incredible things. We're making things happen and looking after our babies at the same time. You know what? Let me just encourage you, even though you're further along the journey than I am, because again, mine are a bit smaller, but I always like to take the opportunity to encourage mums like us who are doing this, that sometimes it is hard. Sometimes we feel like giving up. Sometimes we feel like we're racked with guilt. Like we're trying to be all things to everyone. Like I'm trying to be the best mum, and I'm trying to run my business, and I'm trying to make sure that I can provide for my children, because if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it.
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
So I just want to encourage you to keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
If it hasn't already, it is going to pay off. And one day when your boys become men and they turn around and they're like, wow, we had a powerhouse of a mom.
Oh, man.
Who gave everything to build all of this for us. To live the life that we are living because of what she did, and they will honor you forever. So keep up the good work, Mom.
Thank you, my darling, and to you too. It's not easy.
Not easy, but hey, you know what they say? It's worth it, and I'm seeing it pay bit by bit. But we keep doing what it is.
We just got to keep going. Exactly. 100%.
All right, so Candice, now the people know who you are. People know who you are. So I want us to get into the main discussion, the main question that this entire show is built around. And that fundamental question is, what is the most valuable life lesson that you have learned along your journey? But I don't want you to limit it to just your entrepreneurial journey. I'm just talking about life in general, because although we're speaking to each other, business owner to business owner, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, boss mom to boss mom, I recognize that there are going to be people who are watching this, whether live or on the replay, who are not interested in business, who never want to be an entrepreneur. But what I definitely want is for our discussion to be able to give value to them, regardless of where they are on their journey. So tell me, what's the most valuable life lesson that you have learned?
I think that would be to just live life my way. Live your life authentically your way. It's your life, and just do it your way.
Now we're going to definitely be unpacking that over the next 40 minutes or so of this show. I hope we don't go too far over. That's one of the weaknesses that we've had. Sometimes we've had shows 2 hours, but today, guys, I have not done the ironing, so we ain't doing that today.
We're not today.
But so talk to me. When you talk about, living your life authentically your way, what does that actually mean to you in very real terms?
So how do I put it? I'm trying to put it in a nice way, but I don't know if it was a nice way. So I grew up in the church. I started going to church as a teenager, and that kind of goes back to how we know each other. Yes. And my mum delivered your youngest sister. She was her midwife.
So which sister? Sorry, guys. We're going to take a little sidebar. Which one was it?
The youngest one.
Leah.
Yeah.
Chase Farm.
Chase Farm, yeah.
Okay, I got it wrong. So I thought it was Danielle. So I'm telling my mum, yeah. It's Danielle was Middlesex.
No, Chase Farm.
Chase Farm. So that's Leah. Okay.
Leah, definitely youngest.
We used to tease Leah to say that she was born on a farm. Chase Farm Hospital.
Chase Farm Hospital, yeah. No, my mum was the midwife. My mum delivered your little sister.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Home, and she was like, I delivered Pastor Ose's wife baby today. Okay.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. Okay, so everyone, you got it. That is the link. This is why, officially, our families have been linked for the longest time. But so that's the context. Anyway, as you were saying, go on.
Yes. So we started going to church when I was about 13, 14. So I went to church as a teenager. And you have to, there's certain things that the church stands for. Coming as a teenager, I was a bit rebellious. And I'm the kind of person, if you tell me not to do something, I'm going to dig my heels in and I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm not that one. Don't tell me don't do it. Like, maybe encourage me another way, but don't tell me don't do it. So I did everything against what the church wanted.
The poster girl for Christianity.
I know, terrible, isn't it? So I struggled a lot with that, with feeling like I wasn't being my true self. Then I got married and had my children and so forth, and you know, was still in the church. My mum at that point was still alive, and I was going through some bits in my marriage where I just wasn't happy. But because I was like, I'm in the church and I've got, you know, I've got to make my mum happy, make the church members happy, make my family happy. I kind of stuck it out. And then after my mum passed at the end of 2015, and then my marriage broke down at the beginning of 2016, I just was like, no, well, my mum passed, and that's what kind of gave me a wake-up call to be like, sure, life is really short. Anything can happen at any time. And I was just like, am I actually happy in certain things in my life, my marriage, my career? Just, am I happy? Living for everybody else, or am I living for me? So that's when I was just like, you know what? Forget this. I'm living my life my way. And if people are going to talk about me because I've left my husband, I know why I left at the end of the day. So I just decided to live my life my way. And at the end of the day, I want to get on my deathbed when it's my time and say, you know what? I was happy. I don't want to live with, I don't want to be going to my grave with regrets.
Now that, you know, I can relate to some of what it is that you're saying in terms of, you know, feeling the need to keep up appearances and to please those around us. And oftentimes it is at the detriment of our own selves and our own happiness and our own joy. And so similarly, I have also learned the importance of not putting everyone else first, because we can do so much damage to ourselves in that situation. But I want to talk to you, and I want to know if you don't mind peeling off some of the layers a bit and going into greater detail on the price that you had to pay when you weren't living authentically, where you were living for other people. Talk to me about that price that you had to pay.
So looking back on it now, I just wasn't happy. So, you know, on the outside, I was having fun, I was having a good time, all the laughs and the giggles, laughing in the right places, making the right sounds, saying the right things. Exactly. The grin was there on the outside, but internally, I just wasn't happy. I just felt like I want more. And I'm just not, but I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
I just knew something's not right. Something's just missing. Something's not right. And I think that was when, you know, after my mum passed and I really started assessing things.
Yeah.
A big one was obviously deciding to call time on my marriage. And I was, you know, I kind of got to a point and I was like, why am I even in this? I haven't been happy for years. Why am I still in this? And I was just like, I'm either going to stay in this marriage and accept I'm never going to be happy and just live a life that's not really genuinely 100% happy, or I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses, take my chances. What is going to be is going to be, but I'm going to live the best life that I possibly can.
And how did you, you know, you talk about that unhappiness, and, you know, I get it, being able to wear the beautiful smile on the outside. You know, again, it's like keeping up appearances, but on the inside, you're dying. Did you have like an outlet? Did you have people within your network that knew you authentically? Or did you have this mask on for the entire world? How did that work?
I'd say probably my brother knew a lot of how genuinely unhappy I was. He was probably the only one, actually. Wow. I don't think I really let anybody else know. Actually, I had a really good friend at the time. She knew a little bit. She knew snippets towards, once I started getting towards the end of, I think I'm going to end this. But yeah, my brother was the only one who really kind of knew that I'm just not happy. And even then, I'm very much a person who things have to really get on top of me before I speak about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it would have to be things are really, I just can't hold it anymore. That's when I'd speak to my brother about it. But other than that, I just kept the mask on, and that's not healthy.
I've got you've triggered something else in me. Talk to me about why you only let your brother in. Was that intentional? Like this whole thing about, keeping the mask on. Where did you learn that you had to keep this mask on? Or did you even learn it? Like why did you keep the mask on?
I think I don't know. I don't know. I think it's part of it was growing up, my mum always taught us that what goes on in your house stays in your house. So it's very much of, okay, you can't let people know. And then there's also that you got to keep up the appearance. And when people expect a certain thing from you. So at that point, I was a qualified barrister, so I was practicing law. So on the outside, it looked like I was married, had my children, practicing barrister. Everything's great for her.
You've got it all.
Yeah, what's she got to complain about?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, everyone expects things to be great, so I have to just keep up with it and make it pretend that it is great, but it's not.
And you said that keeping that mask on, you described it as being unhealthy. Talk to me about what you mean by that.
Emotionally, it's not good. I've learnt that a lot more recently. I've learnt now that I do have people that I can confide in and can speak to and can be quite genuine with how I'm feeling about things. And because more times than not, would just be that person that would just keep it internal and just cry about it to myself. It's just destroying you internally, like emotionally. And then you're wondering why you're lashing out at certain things, why you're behaving in certain ways that are not necessarily your usual behaviors. So there was that. I ate a lot more emotionally. I ate a lot more, and that wasn't so physically. It wasn't healthy for me.
Yeah.
So it was like I found comfort in food. So that was another thing. It just wasn't healthy. And there just wasn't anything in me. I just became a shell of myself, really. So, go out, do what you got to do when you're out in public. Yeah, everything's great. But then once you're back at home, like you're just this shell. And even when I was out, it was, the pretense is there. Externally, you're seeing me and it looks all great. But internally, I was just dead inside.
Wow. And how long did you keep that act up for?
Ooh, a long time. A long time. I would say, gosh, probably just after. I think I knew I wasn't happy just before I had my second son.
Wow.
My husband and I split up when he was 4. Yeah. So a long time. I kind of kept that for a long time.
So we're talking about more than 4 years of being almost dead inside.
Yeah.
Raising children, living in an unhappy home, but also keeping up appearances for the outside world. How would you now we've talked about why it wasn't healthy and how keeping the mask on wasn't healthy, but I want to take a moment to talk about your mental and your emotional health and well-being. What did enduring those 4+ years of unhappiness, how did that impact and affect you?
Oh gosh. I think it just broke me emotionally. It broke me emotionally. And I didn't really see how much it broke me until after I left the marriage.
Okay.
So a lot of what I'm doing now were things that I wanted to do during the marriage, for example. But, you know, sometimes as women, we're taught we have to build our men and help them get to where they want to be. And you know, you got to be, you know, be there for him. And it's like, okay, I'm putting all of my hopes and my dreams on hold. I'm building you. And I'm not even happy in building you. I'm not even happy in this.
Wow.
So I felt stifled, and I was just stagnant. I felt stagnant. And just also just very broken. I realized when I came out of the marriage how broken I was, and I had to take time. It took a good, 12 to 18 months after my marriage down to get back to being me and finding me again, because I was just so broken, believing a lot of the negative things that had been said to me and I told myself, allowed myself to believe.
Yeah.
So I was just broken, just emotionally broken.
You talked about a 12 to 18 month period of rebuilding yourself, of healing. What did that actually look like?
A lot of tears, a lot of really looking at myself and who I was internally, accepting my flaws and my mistakes for things, because I wasn't perfect. It wasn't all him. And seeing what I'd done to contribute to the marriage breakdown, what I could have done to maybe stop it.
Yeah.
And just me as a person looking at certain things. Like, one of the things that I really kind of realized about myself is that I'm actually quite spoiled. And when I don't get my own way, I can throw a bit of a tantrum. And so I really had to kind of check myself about that. And I was like, well, that's not healthy. So in building myself back up, it took a lot of self-reflection. Going thing that isn't just something that I just did in those 12 to 18 months and that's it, it stopped. It's an ongoing thing that I'm constantly trying to look at myself, reflect on who I am, how I can be better, trying not to slip back into old ways. And just constantly building myself to try and be better.
When would you say was the point when you were able to acknowledge that you had been living your life for all these other people? You had been living inauthentically. What was the point when you realized, actually, I need to make this change? Can you pinpoint that to, I don't know, did something happen that triggered that awakening where you're like, you know what, for all these years, I've been living inauthentically, but now the time is now. I need to do this now. I need to start living the life that I'm supposed to live. I need to be authentically me.
That was definitely after my mum passed. So she passed in November 2015. And that was when I was just like, no way. Like, I'm not going to. I got to, I think what it was, I got to a point, and I still say it now sometimes, because both my parents have passed now. And like, the two people who I could bring shame and disgrace on, I've put in the ground. So I don't really care what anybody else thinks. So I have to do me. I'm like, the two people whose opinions, the only two people's opinions really matter to me, I've put them in the ground. They don't know, whatever I do, I can't bring no embarrassment to them. So I'm going to just do me. I'm doing me now. Obviously, as a mum, I'm conscious of, don't do you so badly that your children are like, what? I'm not that bad. I don't want my kids to go online one day and be like, what? Is that my mum?
That is too funny.
Yeah, so that was definitely the point. That was the turning point, was after my mum, when I was just like, no. Life is short. Anything can happen at any point. Just do me.
Do you think, and I guess maybe this is a bit of maybe an impossible question to really answer, but do you think, had your mum not passed, do you think you would have gotten to the point where you are now?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard one. I think I definitely did stay in my marriage, as well for my mum's sake, because it was like, I don't want to bring embarrassment to her. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have. I don't know. I'd like to think that I could say yes. I would have just still made those steps and just done it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if because she passed, that was the catalyst that made me just kind of say, you know what? Like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and go for it, hell for leather.
Yeah.
Maybe I may well have done it, but maybe not as fast paced. Maybe I may have been a bit more relaxed about it. I don't know. I definitely think that her passing made me definitely put a rocket up my backside, as they say.
That's interesting, because I was saying it in the intro that oftentimes we learn our most valuable lessons through tremendous pain. And do you know something? And I maybe it's easy for me to say because I haven't gone through that experience, and and I do have my parents still with me, but when I think about some of the pain that I have endured and some of the negative experiences that I've gone through, I guess this is what teaches me the importance of not despising my journey. And I see that sometimes in the darkest of times and in the most painful of times, some of the most beautiful things about my life have been birthed in those seasons. And so I guess, and this is for people who are watching whether live or on the replay, that I don't really like that saying, everything happens for a reason. I don't like it. And if I'm in a bad situation, don't come and tell me that, please.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
But what I will say is that in hindsight, some of or should I say, maybe it's that I've trained myself to look for the good in the negative situations. Like I remember being in some of the darkest times of my life and actually praying like, oh my goodness, God, please don't let my tears all be in vain. Repurpose this pain so that something good can come out of it. And so maybe it's just my perspective. Maybe it was an entirely horrible situation, but the desperation to find some joy again made me look at things from a slightly different perspective. But I think it's incredible how sometimes the things that we go through that maybe were sent to break us or that could have finished us completely can often be the platform for our greatest victories and the breakthroughs in life that we actually need. And so I guess really to encourage the people who are at home or wherever you may be watching this live or on the replay, if you are going through a terrible situation, maybe not now, maybe now's not the time. I'm not going to belittle your pain and tell you, it's all right, everything happens for a reason. But what I am going to say is train yourself to look for that silver lining, train yourself to be able to glean the good and make sure that the things that you're going through, the pain that you're feeling is not in vain, because otherwise, I guess maybe it's like the human's need for meaning in our life. We don't want to feel like that stuff is just happening to us for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so thank you for sharing. So
that's fine. I mean, that's my motto in terms of my whole butterfly business brand.
Okay.
Is just when the caterpillar thought her life was over, she emerged a beautiful butterfly.
Wow, love that.
And that's because I'm like, at the time, I can't think of anything darker than losing your mum.
No.
Like, God forbid, apart from a child, like, God forbid. I can't think of anything worse than that.
Yeah.
And then add a marriage breakdown on top of that. And I'm like, really and truly, when you think of it on paper, I probably should have broken down.
Yeah.
Just crumbled, given up, whatever. But I just, as they say, like a caterpillar, it goes through the cocoon and it fights and and then the next thing comes out this beautiful butterfly. And that's what I like to think of myself, is that, hey, that was my journey. That was it. That was what I was supposed to do. Got my little butterfly tattoo as well.
Sorry. We see it now. I can see it.
I'm branded.
But I think this is a great segue onto the next, the next part of what it is I want to talk to you about. when you were living inauthentically, there were things that you were doing or not doing that didn't quite sit well with you. Then we come to the point where, do you say end of 2015, with this major life event, losing your beloved mum, causes a shift. It causes you to transition into a new state of being. Talk to me about some of the things that happened when you began to live your life authentically. What changed?
What changed? So, I just done me. So what changed? I think, God, the universe, whatever you want to believe in, when something's for you and when things are just aligned for you, the right people suddenly come along. Doors just open that you're just not expecting, and you're just like, is this really my life? Like, how did this happen? And you start to see your confidence starts to build. So I started living my life my way. I started, going through that healing, and what I done first of all was, okay, one of the things I wanted to do was my business thing, and I was like, right, I'm not putting this on hold anymore. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. And the right contacts were being made and contracts were being formed. And it made me think, oh, actually, you know what? I can do this, and I'm a woman. And, and it was so, and then that confidence, and you start being more confident, and then you start thinking, okay, well, if I can do this, and now I've got a little bit more confidence, maybe let me try this. And you start edging a little bit further towards where you want to be and what you want to do. And it's just such a confidence boost. We all, I still get those butterflies. Even today, I was like, oh my gosh, the butterflies still come.
Sure.
But the confidence that you get, and even, meeting new people, experiencing new and exciting and challenging things. You just can't account for it. You really can't. And that's not even just in business, it's personal life as well. Like, there are some outfits that I wear and I'm like, I never would have worn this like 6 years ago. And it's not necessarily revealing or anything like that. But I'm just like, I just didn't have that confidence to wear certain things. And I'm just like, I never would have. Or I just didn't have that confidence. So the confidence boost.
And this boost in your confidence, like, how has it? So of course, we talked about the example of wearing things that you would never have worn. But aside from the way that you might dress now, what else has that boost in your confidence done for you? Done for your personality? Done for your business? Done for your relationships? Done for, what has it done? How has it impacted you?
So I know what I want, and I did, and in that time of healing, of self-reflection and constantly reflecting, I know what I want out of my business. I know what I want out of my life. I know what I want out of a new relationship, what I will and won't stand for. So now, it's not 9 o'clock yet, so I won't say yes. Let me put it the nice way. So, the pre-worded. I won't take any nonsense.
Yeah.
The first sign of any nonsense, and all right, bye, deuces, wow. If something doesn't sit right or doesn't feel right to me, I will vocalize it. Sometimes some people don't know that they've done something or act in a way that might be offensive or that you don't like. So I will let people know, like, I didn't like X, Y, and Z, or I wasn't really feeling how you did. And whether that's with business, personal life, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're still continuing that behavior, then okay, maybe I need to reevaluate where you stand. So it's just having that confidence to speak my truth.
And tell me, Candice, how have people reacted to this new version of you? How have people reacted to the butterfly that has emerged from this cocoon? Because they knew Candice, the caterpillar. Then she went into her cocoon and she's emerged this beautiful, flourishing butterfly. Like, how have people because I'm sure there are people who knew the old you and may have watched you on this journey, and now how you know, have you lost people along the way because of it? Have people fully embraced you, or people not sure how to take you? Talk to me about the changes in your relationships.
Generally, I think, yeah, most my family and friends, they've embraced it. They love it. They're like, we love this we love it. We love this version of Candice. What's really weird, not weird, but this is who I always was, I think, to an extent. So when I went to uni, my uni friends, they saw probably a youthful version of this, so a bit more reckless.
To say the least.
Yeah, a lot more reckless at 18 to 21. But I was me, but reckless. So now when they see this version of me, they're like, this is the Candice who we know, but obviously a more mature version, more sensible. We like this version. But and there were people who didn't know me before my marriage and have seen it, and they're like, wow, we like this version. I have, you know, there have been a couple of people along the way who have fallen along the wayside.
Sure.
But that's just, I think that's just part and parcel of life. You know, as they say, some people are only in your life for a season, for a reason, and so forth. And, you know, they had their season. But generally, overall, everyone's loving it. They call me Little Miss Bossy, but they say, but you know, this Candice is bossy. She knows what she wants, and she ain't afraid to say it. And she's bossy. But they like it.
That's all right. But I guess the most important question is, do you like the new Candice?
I love her. I love the new Candice. I love it. I love her. I still have my moments, you know, where you know, the little bits of self-doubt creeping and the negativity, you know, the negative self-talk. No one's pet. We're still, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey. So I still have those moments. But I love this new version of me. I definitely would not go back to who I was before. Definitely not.
I've got two questions on that. Sometimes when I think back to the woman I once was, when I was in a really toxic situation, when I was like you, a shell of who I am today, I sometimes look back and think, like, Naomi, how did you let yourself get to that?
Yeah.
How did you let anyone break you down to that point? Do you ever think like that?
Yeah, all the time. I think how, and I beat myself up about it for a long time, for a very long time. Like, why did I stay so long? Why, like, what? How could you not see that it was toxic? It wasn't healthy. It was abusive, for want of a better word. And I had to kind of, you know, I said, like, you know what, you just got broken down. And it's weird. And, you know, my mum said to me at one point, she said, you know, all the time growing up, I'd always said, like, you know, I'm going to study law. And then when I finish undergraduate, I'm going to move to the States and do the New York bar, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was on this path of, you know, setting myself these goals and smashing them out of the park. And then she said, then you met, said his name. I'm not going to say his name. But she said, then you met, even though people that know me know that. But yeah, then she said, then you met, and you just, that's not the daughter who I raised. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say nothing. She said, everything just stopped. That's just not the daughter that I knew. It was after she passed and after I left the marriage that I was like, that's what she meant. What she was talking about.
Mums always know, innit?
They know. And I guess even though I never told her, she obviously knew her child and knew I wasn't being me. She knew I wasn't me.
I really want to know, like, in practical terms, and this is more so for the benefit of people who may be watching, who are in that kind of situation right now. What practically did you do to emerge as this butterfly?
Oh, what did I do practically? So I got really into fitness. I really did at one point. I was just like, that almost the revenge body. Like, okay, watch me now. Even though I was one that called time, I'm like, watch. You get this whole who's gonna want you with 2 kids and be like, okay, watch me, watch. So I got really into fitness, and I still do. I'm not as crazy as I was, but I still, try and maintain a regular fitness routine.
Mm-hmm.
I started going out more with my friends, because I'd stopped doing that. I'd stopped going out, whether it was just for dinner, drinks, whatever. Like, people would say, and I'd always use the children's excuse, childcare. But so I was like, no, I'm going to go out. Like, if I want to go carnival, if I want to go out for dinner, if I want to go out for drinks, I'm going. Like, as long as I know the boys are okay with someone that I trust, very few people that I trust, but I'm going out and I'm going to have fun. What else did I do practically? I started working on my business, started focusing on my goals.
Okay.
So one of the things that I always used to do, but never actually accomplished them because I just wasn't being myself, was I would set myself, goals at the beginning for the year.
Okay.
During that time, I didn't really accomplish them during the marriage. And then once I got out of it, I was like, okay, right, this is what I want to achieve by the end of this year. And just started doing that. And then there was around, the same time around vision boards as well. So I started putting the little pictures up, and I want to do this, and I want to buy a house, and I want a new car, and I want this, and that's what I started doing. And I have some of the most random things. Like, I'd be like, oh, I want a new pair of shoes. Like, I want a new Christian Louboutin shoes. And I put that on my vision board. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get myself a pair of red bottoms. Yeah, that's why. Why not? I deserve it. So yeah, those are the practical things that I've done: the vision board, fitness, just saying yes more to social situations, coming out of my comfort zone. So even things that I felt that, oh, maybe I can't do this. I don't think if you'd have asked me to do this 2-3 years ago, I don't know if I would have done it. I would have been like, I'll get back to you. I don't know. Still quite shy and timid. Like, can I do it? Now I'm like, no, I'll just say yes to things.
That's amazing. What a journey. And I'm sure there are both men and women who are watching this right now and who can relate to different elements of your story, and who are able to kind of see themselves at different points along your own journey. And maybe it's causing them to kind of like take stock and think about maybe some of the decisions that they have made or are making. But, something that you said is that life is short, and sometimes we can spend way too much time dwelling on, focusing on, thinking about things that ultimately do not matter. Like you said, you don't want to get to your deathbed and be filled with regret. You want to make sure that you have lived a life that was worth living, live a life that is worth people talking about, being able to draw inspiration from. And I commend you for doing just that. There are a couple more questions that I want to ask you before we wrap up. I'm keeping a close eye on the time. Keeping a close eye. Candice, there are people who have joined us late, maybe had to leave early and maybe want to come back to this. There's going to be people who are going to be watching this on the replay or watching it live now. But spoken for just shy of an hour. And I really want to know if there was one message that you'd want people to take away from all we've discussed today. If there was one point that you'd want us all to just really hold on to and not forget, if we were to forget everything else that was discussed, what would that one message be that you'd want us to hold on to for, the rest of the week and maybe even for the rest of our lives? What's that one message?
Oh, I think that would probably be just do you. Do you, boo. Do you, baby. Do you. Do you. Don't mind anyone else.
And I want you to break that down for us. Like, what do you, when you say "do you, boo"? What does that mean?
So I guess that's just something I say on my mad self. But yeah, just do what makes you happy. You've got to be happy. This life is too hard. It's too short. It's too unpredictable. And if this year has taught us anything, it's that anything can happen. The unexpected, like, who thought we was all like some worldwide pandemic? We're all gonna be just sitting like, no one ever thought, when they say, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? None of us thought we were gonna be stuck in our houses for the best part of a year. If someone had asked us that. So just do your thing. Do you, baby, do you. Just do what makes you happy. Obviously, don't hurt nobody. I always say, be someone of integrity and honesty and with a clean heart, but do you. Don't worry about what people are going to talk, whatever you do. Mm-hmm. Even God can't please everybody. If he makes it rain, someone's complaining. If it shines, someone else is complaining. So people are going to talk whatever you do. So just do you, and you be happy. At the end of the day, you're the one that has to come into your house, close the front door, go to your bed at night. Don't be worrying about what people are thinking. Like, go to your bed at night with a smile on your face and be like, you know what? I had a great time today. And sometimes that might be just watching Netflix and eating popcorn and having it. Sometimes that's what it is. Do it. So yeah, just say, do you live your life?
Thank you so much for sharing. Candice, now we've talked a lot about life and about life stuff, but I want to just get down to business now. We've talked about, we've touched on your brand, but I want you to let the people know what it is you do, but more importantly, how can we tap into what it is that we are doing? How can we buy? And I say that, buy. How can we purchase? How can we actually spend money with you? How can we spend in what it is that you are doing, and how can people find you?
Okay, so the main business page is Butterfly with 2 Y's Productions, and on there so I do property maintenance. So that's all maintenance, renovations, painting, decorating, the lot. I do social Butterfly events, which is the events page, but that hasn't launched as yet, obviously due to COVID. Yeah. So that will probably, it's more than likely going to be next year. And I also am doing a online charity event, actually. So if they go onto the Butterfly Productions page, next month is Baby Loss Awareness Month. I've been through some pregnancy losses, so we're doing an online charity auction to raise money for Tommy's Baby Charity. So yeah, so if they log on to that page, they'll see the Butterfly Babies online charity event. And the last thing is the skincare business, which is Butterfly Bliss, and that is natural skincare products, all made to order, made in house by myself, and it's all completely natural. And again, I started that because my youngest son has really bad dry skin, things the doctors prescribe. Yeah, it's all great and everything, but you just don't know what's in it. So that's how I ended up starting that. And that actually came about, just doing some bits as a way of taking away from my grief. Again, just, an outlet so that I wasn't just laying in bed all day crying.
Yeah.
And one of the life lessons my mum always taught me was, if you're going to do something, do it well or not at all. And so it was like, okay, well, how can I do this properly and make this a business? And that's what I've done. So yeah, that's Butterfly Bliss.
I love it. And so tell me, how long have your businesses been going?
So the property business has been going since 2016. Butterfly Bliss has been going since 2017.
Wow. And this is what you're doing full time. This is all that you do.
This is all that I do. I did do, some freelance legal work. I still dip in and out a little bit with the legal work freelance. But yeah, this is generally it. And the maintenance contracts, it all keeps me busy. It all keeps me so busy. So yeah. So this is
I love
me.
it. I love it. Do you know, it's incredible. And you know what? I want to really encourage for people who are watching this, whether live or on the replay, to go out and support Candice in what it is she's doing, whether it be through Butterfly with 2 Ys, Butterfly Bliss with the skincare range, or if it is, oops, wrong button, or if it's through Butterfly Productions. Go check out her profile, go check out her website. What is you said you're mostly on Instagram. Give me the hashtag.
Yes.
With the hashtag.
So the at, I know what you mean. the use. So the Butterfly Productions one is at Butterfly Productions. And
Butterfly Productions.
that's the one. And Butterfly Bliss is at Butterfly Bliss. Yeah.
Butterfly Bliss, yeah?
Yeah. Again,
Okay.
2 Ys. So they're all on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. I'm mainly on Instagram. But yeah, they're all there. And if you go on the website, there are links to join onto all these social platforms.
Amazing. I really want to encourage those of you who are looking for, maybe you need some new skincare solutions, go check her out. For those of you who are interested in the property management and maintenance or what have you, just go and check her out. I believe that it's really important that we are intentional about supporting people doing incredible things in our community. Like you've heard Candice's story. This is not just someone who woke up and was born with a silver spoon in her mouth and who made it happen. No, she had to pay the price. She had to go through some stuff in order for her to be able to come and present herself before us the way that she is, full of life, full of energy, and full of excitement. And I think it's important for us to also recognize that all of us have a story. All of us have gone through stuff. And sometimes we're able to make something beautiful out of the mess that would be our lives. And so when we have people who we bring here, who are out there doing their thing, who are trying, who are succeeding against the odds, because Candice, let me just say, statistically, people like you and like me, solo parents who are doing this, we shouldn't be living the type of life that we're living, right?
Okay.
We shouldn't be building businesses. We shouldn't be thriving, but somehow we persevere, we push and we press on, making it happen. We keep going, even in the face of defeat, even when it's hard, even when we're on our hands and our knees and we want to cry, like we're making it happen. And so want to encourage those of you out there to go out and support Candice in what it is she's doing, to go, and not only just Candice, look, like we've had some incredible guests over the past 16 weeks who have been on the show. So please do check them out, go and support, because you see, everyone is so accustomed to clapping and celebrating the big celebrities who've already made it, who've already made their fortune and who are out there. But let's not forget the people who are building, who are climbing, who are on the way up. I'm seeing a little wave here from Candice. Candice was one of our previous guests as well. Thanks so much for joining us and for tuning in. But it's important. It's important that we celebrate one another and that we support one another along our journey, because this life thing, it's not easy. There are days when, of course, it's all blue skies, sunshine, and everyone's having a wonderful time. But there are also seasons where it is dark and where it is difficult. And if you can, like Candice, emerge from that cocoon and you have to fight your way out of that cocoon as well, then, you know what, I think that's something to be applauded. It's something to be celebrated. And, I see Candice before me, and let me tell you, and I'm sure that she will correct me if I'm wrong, Candice is not a superhuman. Like, she was born with 4 arms and 3 heads. And like, that's not it. Like, she is a normal woman, just like I am, just how you may be, just like a normal man may be. And so if she can do it, and I want to encourage you that you can absolutely do it too. And so as you go throughout the week, as you go throughout your life going forward, even if we never ever come into contact with you again, I want to encourage you to take on the lesson that Candice has shared with us today, to live your life. Oh dear, if I could only spell live your life, live your life. Live your life authentically your way. It may mean that some people don't like the choices that you've made. It may mean that some people take issue with the decisions that you have made and with the way that you're choosing to live your life. But I feel as long as you're not physically or emotionally or mentally hurting anyone, as long as you're not doing any harm to yourself, go out there and be the person that you were made to be. Your vision was given to you for a reason. And I know you can bring it out the way that it is supposed to be done. So I just want to encourage everyone as we go through these unprecedented times, like to keep on keeping on. Candice talked about the unpredictability of this year alone. But I want to encourage you that, you know what, there is still time to make 2020 great for you. If it isn't ready, like there is still time. Be intentional, be committed, go out there, take consistent action in making your dreams a reality. And just like Candice, you'll be able to transition from that caterpillar emerging as that beautiful butterfly. So Candice, you know what? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And it's so wonderful to be able to get to know more of your story. Because even I was learning. I didn't know everything, all the parts of your story. To say, guys, we didn't plan this conversation out. Like, no. This is raw. It is honest,
off the cuff.
Off the cuff, and that's how I think it's best to keep hold of that authenticity. So thank you for being so willing. Thank you for being so open, so honest, and making yourself vulnerable for someone for even me to be able to glean the good from what it is that you have shared. Oh, lovely.
Love you too. Thank you, Auntie.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, well, Candice, you know what? Thank you for being here. And to everyone who has watched, who has commented, who has shared, who has liked, who has subscribed, thank you so much, because if it weren't for you, there simply wouldn't be a show. I'm here to let you know that we are going to be back doing it again next week, Sunday at the same time, 8 p.m. British summertime. I'll be back with another very special guest who will also be sharing their life, their most valuable, their most important life lesson that they have learned along their journey. And so on behalf of both Candice and I want to wish you all a fantastic evening. I'm going to go and do that ironing that I've been putting off. Have a wonderful week going forward, everyone. Someone's just tuned in and said, I missed it. Don't cry. Look, this is going to be available to watch straight after we finish. It's going to be available on the replay, so you can tune in and you can catch up. Don't worry at all. All right then. So Candice, have a wonderful evening.
And you hope you get your ironing done at a reasonable time.
Oh, I'm going to force myself. I'm going to do it. It's going to get done. These kids have to go to school tomorrow.
Well, that's it. The advantage of having an older one is that I'm like, you need to start learning how to iron the clothes.
Do you know what? It's true. My daughter, she desperately wants to learn how to iron, but sometimes teaching them, it makes it longer.
It's long. It's longer. But you know what? You save yourself. If you just do it one Sunday.
It's true.
You just, now the thing, apart from the shirts, I have to do the shirts. But other than that, I'm like, iron the trousers. Yeah, no. It saves me.
Oh, let me just bring this up. Who's this? Carbon King. I'm assuming that's someone for you.
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin.
I love it. Family affair. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. Guys, we're signing off now. For those of you who've joined us late, don't worry. This is available to watch on demand. So you can catch it on the replay. Candice shared some gems with us, so please do make sure you catch up. As I was saying, on behalf of myself and Candice, I want to wish you all a productive, a blessed, and amazing week going forward.
Yeah.
And we shall see you again next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. British summertime. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.